Your cat just ate. The bowl was full 2 minutes ago. Yet here they are, acting like they haven't seen food in days. You check the bowl, it's empty again. You check your cat, they're definitely not skinny. So what's going on? Why does your cat seem permanently, desperately, unshakably hungry? Here's the thing, most of the time, it's not about food at all. When veterinarians talk about cats and appetite, they draw a line between two very different things. True polyphagia means eating excessively relative to energy needs, usually paired with weight loss or illness. But what most cat owners experience is something else. A cat that acts ravenous while gaining weight. A cat whose bowl is never empty long enough. A cat who screams at you from across the room as if starving. The paradox is real. Your starving cat is probably overfed. What looks like hunger is actually a tangle of brain chemistry, evolutionary mismatch, stress, and a relationship between you and your cat that's been quietly shaped by misunderstanding. Before we talk about behavior, we need to rule out the body. Some cats genuinely are hungry because something inside them has broken. The most common culprit in older cats is hyperthyroidism. Around 13 to 15% of cats over 10 years old develop this condition. The thyroid gland produces too much hormone, cranking metabolic rates sky high. The cat burns energy faster than they can replace it. Appetite surges, often doubling, yet body weight drops. Roughly 80 to 90% of hyperthyroid cats lose weight despite eating more. Owners often miss the diagnosis at first because the cat seems lively, vocal, and enthusiastic about food. All signs that look healthy until you notice the ribs showing through the fur. Diabetes tells a similar story, but through a different mechanism. Insulin resistance or deficiency prevents glucose from entering cells. Blood sugar climbs, yet muscles and organs remain starved for fuel. The brain interprets this as famine and ramps up appetite. The cat eats and eats, but the calories never reach the tissues. Weight drops, thirst spikes, litter box use doubles. Excess body fat clearly reduces insulin sensitivity in cats, with studies showing large decreases in glucose tolerance, so obesity itself can trigger the disease that makes the cat act insatiable. Rarer causes exist too. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency means the pancreas stops producing digestive enzymes. Food passes through undigested. The cat devours meals, yet stays skeletal, producing greasy, foul-smelling stool. Inflammatory bowel disease and other gut disorders create malabsorption with similar results. Ravenous appetite, wasting body. Even drugs can do it. Corticosteroids, like prednisone and some anticonvulsants, ramp up appetite as a side effect. If your cat's hunger appeared suddenly, especially with weight loss, vomiting, diarrhea, or increased thirst, the problem is medical. But if your cat is chubby, bright-eyed, and has been starving for years, that's where the story gets interesting. Appetite isn't a simple on-off switch. A control center in the hypothalamus, a walnut-sized region deep in the brain, integrates dozens of chemical signals. Two hormones dominate the conversation, leptin and ghrelin. Leptin is made by fat cells. The fatter the cat, the more leptin floods the bloodstream, telling the brain, we have energy reserves, stop eating. Ghrelin comes from the stomach, rising before meals and whispering, time to hunt, time to feed. In a lean, healthy cat, these signals balance. Eat, leptin climbs, appetite fades. Fast, ghrelin rises, hunger returns. But in obese cats, the system fails. Studies measuring hormone levels in overweight versus lean cats found that obese animals show leptin resistance. Fat tissue pumps out leptin, yet the hypothalamus stops listening. The brain still thinks the body is starving, so appetite remains high despite abundant stored energy. Ghrelin patterns shift too. The result is a cat trapped in a feedback loop. Overeating drives obesity. Obesity breaks satiety, signaling. Broken signaling drives more overeating. Age makes things worse. Older cats develop insulin resistance even without overt diabetes, altering how the liver and muscles handle glucose after meals. The brain's fuel gauge becomes unreliable. Hunger cues persist longer. The carbs make cats hungry narrative collapses under scrutiny. The real drivers are total calories, activity, and the eating environment. Which brings us to evolution. Domestic cats descend from the African wildcat, a solitary desert hunter. That ancestor didn't eat meals, it ate prey. Small, frequent, scattered across the day and night. A mouse here, a lizard there, maybe a bird at dawn. Feral cats today follow the same pattern, spending up to half of every 24-hour period locating and consuming food. They hunt, they eat, they rest, they hunt again. Meals are tiny, numerous, and earned. Your cat's brain is still built for that rhythm. But your home offers the opposite: 1 or 2 large bowls of calorie-dense kibble, delivered on a human schedule, requiring 0 effort. Research on feeding patterns reveals the mismatch clearly. When cats were switched from free access to restricted feeding windows, behavior changed fast. They began rushing to the bowl, eating faster, taking fewer but larger meals, and showing increased aggression toward other cats during pre-meal anticipation. When access windows shrank further, from 12 hours to 8 to 4, cats compensated by eating more food in the available window than they had previously consumed in 12 hours. Restriction didn't reduce intake. It made cats impulsive, frantic, and food-obsessed. The natural feeding ecology also involves solitary eating. Cats in the wild don't compete for bowls, but in multi-cat households, a single feeding station creates artificial scarcity. Some cats gulp food in seconds, fearing another cat will steal it. Others hover, waiting for a safe moment. To an owner, this looks like insatiable hunger. To the cat, it's resource guarding and stress. The modern feeding model creates a behavioral void. Hunting instincts go unmet. Boredom fills the gap. Food becomes the most interesting thing in an understimulated environment. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Much of your cat's hunger is learned behavior, and you're the teacher. Cats are brilliant at reading human routines. They notice that certain actions predict food. You enter the kitchen, the fridge opens, a cupboard clicks, and meals often follow. These cues trigger anticipatory behavior: meowing, weaving between your legs, sitting by the bowl. Owners interpret this as hunger and respond by feeding. The cat learns that vocalizing and following work. The behavior intensifies. Studies on human ability to interpret cat meows show variable accuracy, with food-related vocalizations among the most recognizable to owners. Cats exploit this. They deploy food solicitation calls even when fed, because those sounds reliably trigger human responses. Owner psychology plays a role too. Research linking owner personality to cat obesity found that people with low conscientiousness and a preference for immediate rewards were more likely to have overweight cats. These owners found it harder to resist begging. Many also used food as a primary expression of affection, interpreting every interaction as a request to be fed. Treats add hidden calories. Surveys on treat feeding practices show that caregivers often give extras for bonding or to make the cat happy without tracking the energy load. The cat learns that persistence pays. The owner feels loved. Both reinforce a cycle where food substitutes for play, attention, and environmental enrichment. Your cat's endless appetite is a message, but it's rarely about an empty stomach. It's about a brain soaked in leptin it can't hear, an evolutionary blueprint mismatched to a bowl-fed life, a relationship where meowing has become the language of love, and an indoor world too quiet for a hunter. The next time your cat stares at you like they're starving, ask a different question. Not are they hungry, but what are they actually trying to tell me? The answer might surprise you.